Swisher blunts and I ain't never coming down. Bitch, you ain't no Barbie. I see you work at Arby's. Never too super silent. Hurry up, I'm starving. Gnarly, radical. On the block, I'm magical. See me at your college campus, baggy full of Adderalls. Call me if you need a fix. Call me if you need a boost. See them other chicken heads, they don't ever leave the coop. I'm in the coop cruising. I got the stolen plates, serving all the fiends over there by the Golden Gate. Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis. Fendi, Fendi, Prada, Fendi, Fendi, Prada, Fendi, Fendi, Prada, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Fendi, Fendi, Prada, Fendi, Fendi, Prada, Fendi, Fendi, Prada, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Fendi, Fendi, Prada. The basic bitches wear that shit, so I don't even bother. Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Fendi, Fendi, Prada. The basic bitches wear that shit, so I don't even bother. I put that on my partner, I put that on my family. Oakland City represent, address me as your majesty. Yeah, you can kiss the ring, but you can never touch the crown. I smoke a million Swisher blunts and I ain't never coming down.
Do you agree that there's no such thing as racism, sexism, homophobism, Islamophobism, deadbeat dadism, white supremacism, and all the other isms? Destiny, that's a woman's name. You were raised by your daddy and mama. That makes you half man and half woman. You are a beta. You're not a real man, beta. I just have one question for ya, beta. There's just one thing I want to know. Destiny, do you love all people? Do you really love the blacks? Destiny, do you love black people? Why can't you just answer the question? Destiny, do you love all people?
Systems, the company store, the paradigm of absolute control. And that's why we're just out here doing simple things, pointing out that we're meant to be in nature and be natural. And this is where we find the source that God made to transcend the New World Order. And that's why they want to try to keep us out of it.
I'm angry. I've had enough of these people. They're a bunch of Christian murderers scum. They're on giant death factories keeping babies alive and selling their body parts. What more do you need to know about these people? I go out and face these scum. They literally crawl out from under rocks. They have green looking skin and they run around screaming, we love Satan, we wanna eat babies. I have them on video. Hillary's in the creepy, weird, sick stuff, man. She sleeps in the same room with that creepy, weird woman whose mother wears a hood over her head. What the hell? That woman number one is ugly. Imagine how bad she smells, man. I'm told her and Obama just stink. Obama and Hillary both smell like sulfur. Literal vampire pot and the goblins are hobbling round coming after us. My spirit gets close to that evil and I feel it go. We're such self-centered crap. We don't even notice hell itself rising up against us. Millions of pointed people of the very worst type, and I'm so pissed. We're gonna stab your daughter at the mall. We're gonna stab your wife, your son. We're gonna stab you with a butcher knife, and then the police chief is gonna say, we love our Somalis, we love our Muslims. Oh, they're so good, oh, they're so sweet.
I was watching Fox News as I worked out this morning.
Whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. There's some whores in this house.
I said certified freak. 7 days a week. Wet ass P word. Make that pullout game weak. Yeah, you effin' with some wet ass P word. Bring a bucket and a mop for this wet ass P word. Give me everything you've got for this wet ass P word. Beat it up, N word, catch a charge. Extra large and extra hard. Put this P word right in your face. Swipe your nose like a credit card. Hop on top, I wanna ride. I do a kegel while it's inside. Spit in my mouth, look in my eyes. This P word is wet, come take a dive. It continues along these lines. And it gets significantly more vulgar. Like, a lot more vulgar.
I keep that thing on me. God damn it, Bobby. They see me selling propane and now they trying to copy. Pretend to be broke, but I got hella cash. If you use charcoal, I'ma kick your ass. Made this money from propane, bitch. I feel like Pablo Escobar, but I don't sell cocaine, bitch. Shot that fella cause he didn't make his payments. Fuck with me, I keep a rocket launcher in my basement. Made this money from propane, bitch. I feel like Pablo Escobar, but I don't sell cocaine, bitch. Shot that fella cause he didn't make his payments. Fuck with me, I keep a rocket launcher in my basement. Oh man, goddamn, I caught Bobby jacking off. Syrup ain't no cough. Big Hank, break the law. Lady Bird, that's my dog. Peggy got that wet, I'll flip you like a tech deck. Yeah, I run my set, I'm running up them checks. If you using charcoal, that's a red dot at your head. Propane till I'm dead, bitch, I'm off the meds. We be smoking loud, and you smoking on mid. Me and Dale getting lit, and I'm running from the feds. Made this money from propane, bitch. I feel like Pablo Escobar, but I don't sell cocaine, bitch. Shot that fella cause he didn't make his payments. Fuck with me, I keep a rocket launcher in my basement. Made this money from propane, bitch. I feel like Pablo Escobar, but I don't sell cocaine, bitch. Shot that fella cause he didn't make his payments. Fuck with me, I keep a rocket launcher in my basement.
as your dreams go down the drain. Come on, wagey, join the crew. Don't you want your wages too? And if the boss man makes you blue, you deserve it, you're a screw. Weekend comes round after ages. You can come collect your wages. Throw your bodies, have your rages. Then get back to your cages.
How's it going, everybody? It's a B-Word broadcast. Let's go. I'm excited. Are you excited? We got ourselves a good show tonight. This morning. I am on my A game. I'm hyped. I hope you're hyped. We're going to find out more about how American cops are cowards. And then we're going to check out a really fun video game. Mon Bazou. Mon Bazou. It'll be a nice little touch of French Canadian in it. I hope you're doing good. So yeah, it is Sunday morning. It's a beautiful day in Montreal. Beautiful, beautiful day. And we're gonna check out some of the news that happened in the last 2 days. The Uvalde shooting is absolutely an indictment of the American police system. And yeah, then we're gonna get to some cool video games. Should be a good stream. Alright. I'm gonna line up the first stuff we got. But I hope you're doing good. I had a really good night last night. Had a lovely poetry slam just last night at Lafayette Musée. It was really great. I'll talk about it a bit more later. We got some like poetry we can check out. Some lovely some lovely pieces from Dina Smith. It's really great stuff. So yeah, we got all sorts of good content. But first and foremost, we're gonna find out what the hell is going on with American policing. Like, holy cow. I'm gonna blast off. Okay, alright. So let's go to the first thing we got lined up. Alright. Getting into it. Oh yeah, I think definitely the thing I want to frame this with. Sort of organizing my sources right now. Yeah. But otherwise, how you been? How's it going? I had such a crazy night last night. It was so wild. So much good poetry. It was honestly pretty lovely. Lots of good young talent. Lots of old heads. Lots of pros. Damn, man. All sorts of gravity, I think was the word. Alright. So this is the image I'm gonna start with. Right here. Alright. The American Teacher, everybody. This is what the American Teacher looks like. Low salary. COVID-19 restrictions. She's got the face mask, the double face mask. It's a woman. Wearing heels. Standardized testing. Oh, talk to teachers about standardized testing. False flag. All the stuff that oh man, what's his name? Alex Jones is doing. I'm an MIA for a few weeks. When did you cut your hair off? Oh yeah. Poof, gone. I had a show coming up, and I just felt I looked like trash, and it was a pretty difficult moment. But I did have to kind of cut it all off. Summer cut, summer vibes. Yeah, I look more conservative. It's kind of like a. I have mixed feelings, let's say. All right, so she's got like a wicked weapon that looks like an M416 or an M16. State solution. Oh my god. She's got to be the first aider. Church and state. Right. Of course, teacher evaluation. And she's got to know the tech and all the learning. Psychology, right? Like the subject specific. This is the actual stuff that she's paid to do. Like, this is it right here. Psychology. Like, distance learning, she suddenly has to, like, learn on the fly. 1776, the Constitution. That's a really odd choice. I don't understand that part. But yeah, I thought this was a really interesting way to frame all this. Okay, so if you continue down that vein, vast majority of educators reject Republican proposals for arming teachers. Teachers want their students to be safe, but they say they need school supplies, not guns. What do you guys think? School supplies or guns? What will help in this situation, you think, more? I'm going with school supplies. Definitely school supplies. All right. So the big story, I think the thing worth starting on is probably from the AP. Oh no, wait, sorry. There's two stories from the AP. Here we go. a sec. Okay, so this is the heart of the story. If you haven't been following Uvalde and you're just catching up now, like this is pretty much it. All right. So yeah, police in action. Move to the center of a probe. Sorry, just give me a sec. The actions are most notably the inaction of a school district police chief and other law enforcement officers have become the center of the investigation into this week's shocking school shooting in Uvalde, Texas. The delay in confronting the shooter, who was inside the school for more than an hour, could lead to discipline, lawsuits, and even criminal charges against police. Lol, really? Actually? I don't know about that one. The attack that left 19 children and 2 teachers dead in the 4th grade classroom was the nation's deadliest school shooting in nearly a decade. And for 3 days, police offered a confusing and sometimes contradictory timeline that drew anger and frustration. The teachers can't be trusted to choose the books or subject matter, but we can arm them and trust them with guns? Yeah, because then all they just gotta shoot down bad ideas, right? You've heard of that before. You ever been in a meeting and someone shot down your idea? Like, come on, that's what teachers are for. Gah. By Friday, authorities acknowledged that students and teachers repeatedly begged 911 operators for help, while the police chief told more than a dozen officers to wait in a hallway at Robb Elementary School. Officials said he believed the suspect was barricaded inside adjoining classrooms and that there was no longer an active attack. This is the part that I still can't get my head around, because we watched clips of them arresting, detaining, otherwise having a perimeter against the parents. And there's one story of a mother who was put in handcuffs, was released after like begging the local police officers, the Uvalde police, and she like ran around and got her own kids. So like, what the fuck? The chief's decision and the officer's apparent willingness to follow his directives against established active shooter protocols that have been established for like a decade prompted questions about whether more lives were lost because officers did not act faster to stop the gunman, and who should be held responsible. Yeah, she jumped the fence like Rambo. Wait, maybe not Rambo. MacGyver? I don't know. Who would that... What superhero figure would that be? In these cases, I think the court of public opinion is far worse than any court of law or police department administrative trial. And end quote, said Joe Giacoloni, a retired New York police sergeant. Quote, "This has been handled so terribly on so many levels, there will be a sacrificial lamb here or there." Yikes. Even he is like, I don't know, guys, that they're probably just gonna have a few scapegoats and move on. As the gunman fired at students, law enforcement officers from other agencies urged the school police chief to let them move in because children were in danger, 2 law enforcement officials said. The officials spoke on condition of anonymity because they had not been authorized to talk publicly about the investigation. One of the officials said audio recordings from the scene capture officers from other agencies telling the school police chief that the shooter was still active and that the priority was to stop him. But it wasn't clear why the school chief ignored their warnings. Oh my god, what? Oh man, what? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how anyone could, like, this is like society breaking stuff. This is I don't know. This is like where the rubber hits the road. If you can't protect the children that you pay taxes for, why will... That's like one of the first things societies form and figure out is like, okay, so we're getting totally destroyed by the kangaroos, and we're getting wrecked by the tarantulas, and like, I don't know, just imagine like humans out in nature. We had to figure out how to organize to just defend our kids and police, I think, in our subconscious, are supposed to be doing that role for us in society. Like you could think of like the warrior caste in India. Oh, that's a bad example. Bro.
What kind of job do they have? I mean, they're like this is in the on the back of the cop car to protect and serve. Protect who? Why didn't they protect kids?
So they did move on though. Right now it's doors. Doors are the problem, everybody. One of the oldest technologies that humans ever figured out. Doors. You know the thing that Genghis Khan famously used to get through the Great Wall of China? By bribing a guard? Yeah. Alright, we gotta fix that, everybody. Next, the wheel.
We really need to be careful with what we say, especially when our emotions are high. We need to let things cool down a little bit so we can think clearly. You don't know what these police officers are going through.
Wow. Why? What? What? Did he say what I think he said?
We really need to be careful with what we say, especially when our emotions are high. We need to let things cool down a little bit so we can think clearly. You don't know what these police officers are going through.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Yo, I don't know. Texas Governor Greg Abbott, who had a news conference earlier in the week, lauded the police for saving lives, said he had been misled about the initial response, and promised there would be investigations into, quote, exactly who knew what, when, who was in charge, and what they did. Quote, the bottom line would be, why did they not choose the strategy that would have been best to get in there and to eliminate the killer and to rescue the children, Abbott said. Criminal charges are rarely pursued against law enforcement in school shootings. A notable exception was the former school resource officer accused of hiding during the 2018 shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida, that left 17 people dead. Oh my God. New York City Defense Attorney Paul Martin and Chuck Wexler, Executive Director of the Police Executive Research Forum in Washington, both said Saturday that they did not know of any other officers who have been criminally charged for failing to act in a mass shooting. Those poor cops, how dare we expect them to do what they signed up for? Yeah, I know. It's like, what? This is, I mean, the Supreme Court's been pretty clear about this. We're going to cover that later, like the legal aspect of it. Martin, who has represented police officers charged with murder, assault, and other crimes, said he thinks what happened in Uvalde differs from Parkland because the officers who waited to confront the assailant were following orders. Martin said he doesn't think they can be charged based on decisions from their command. Where have we heard that argument before? I was just following orders, everybody. Yeah, sure, an atrocity was allowed to happen on my watch. I was just kind of maybe a little too focused on bullying parents. I mean, don't blame me. I just do what I do. I don't know why I do it. Like, I'm trying to get into the head of these cops. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Oh my goodness. As for the school district police chief who decided to wait, Martin said it would be a, quote, very high bar to charge him criminally because police officers are given latitude to make tactical decisions. Quote, the families can sue the police department for failing to act. They can clearly be found civilly liable, he said. I think it's very doubtful that they could be criminally charged. In terms of civil liability, the legal doctrine called qualified immunity, which shields police officers from lawsuits unless their actions violate clearly established laws, could also be at play in future litigation. In other words, they have this like golden shield for some reason. No one else gets this shield. They get it though. Potential administrative punishments meted out by the department itself could range from a suspension, often called a paid vacation, or docked pay to forced resignation or retirement or outright termination. Wow, they might get fired, everybody. Wow. Ooh. Wow. Can you imagine the harm of a policeman or woman or person losing their job. The families of most of those killed or wounded in Parkland reached a $127.5 million settlement with the U.S. Department of Justice over the FBI's failure to stop the gunman, even though it had received information he intended to attack. Wow. So the parents sued the DOJ because the FBI knew this guy was intending to shoot up the school and they didn't do anything about it. That's crazy. And a pittance too. 127 million between families. You'll get a job in the next town within a month. Yeah, that's the thing, right? You just go to the next one over. There's no registry, right? No database. Like that's another thing that people are trying to push for. Former Broward County Deputy Scott Peterson is scheduled. I'm also going to put on the music. Former Broward County Deputy Scott Peterson is scheduled to go to trial in September on charges of child neglect resulting in great bodily harm, culpable negligence, and perjury. He has said he did the best he could at the time. A federal judge threw out all but one of the lawsuits against the school district and sheriff's office after the massacre at Columbine High School in 1999, ruling that the gunmen were responsible. Wow, so that's the precedent we're working with here. The daughter of a teacher who bled to death reached a $1.5 million settlement in her lawsuit against the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office in 2002. Police were heavily criticized at the time for not going into the school sooner. Quote, since 2002. This is how long this has been going on. They're just getting called out for it now. Quote, what Columbine taught us is when you have an active shooter situation, waiting for additional resources will result in people losing their lives. It was an off-duty, border patrol agent who was like getting a haircut, and, like grabbed a shotgun and went and go. I don't know how true it is, but there's some like reports out there. It's an interesting side story. The local cops even tried to prevent the federal officers from going in. I think we're gonna get there. That's the part that I find most messed up. Arredondo could not be reached for comment Friday, and Uvalde officers were stationed outside his home, but they would not say why. Maria Haberfeld, a professor at John Jay College of Criminal Justice in New York, said the police department's policies, procedures, and training will be scrutinized to see whether the officers on the ground in Uvalde followed them. If they did, criminal charges are still brought. She said it would send a chilling message to police nationwide. Quote, if you follow your procedures, you're still brought up on charges, so what's the point of having procedures, she said. Oh my god, oh no, oh no. But Jorge Colina, a former Miami police chief, wants to know more about what was going through the minds of the officers inside the school as the chief told them to wait in the hall. Quote, did someone challenge the decision there, he said? Did someone raise an objection at least? Literally asking, like, did any of them have a soul? Did a single one of them have anything in there? And yeah, apparently shooter warning signs get lost in sea of social media posts. There's like all sorts of signs. The warning signs were there for anyone to stumble upon 2 days before the 18-year-old gunman entered a Texas elementary school. Yeah. There's the Instagram photo of a hand holding a gun magazine. Okay, yeah. a TikTok profile that warned kids be scared, and the image of 2 AR-style semi-automatic rifles displayed on a rug pinned to the top of the killer's Instagram profile. Guys, holy shit. What? Okay. When, quote, when somebody starts posting pictures of guns they started purchasing, they're announcing to the world that they're changing who they are, said Catherine Schweit, a retired FBI agent who spearheaded the agency's active shooter program. Quote, it absolutely is a cry for help. It's a tease. Can you catch me? Okay, that's interesting. The foreboding posts, however, are often lost in an endless grid of Instagram photos that feature semi-automatic rifles, handguns, and ammunition. There's even a popular hashtag devoted to encouraging Instagram users to upload daily photos of guns with more than 2 million posts attached to it. Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, alright, okay. Maybe we shouldn't have read Below the Fold. Okay, let's see if we can watch this Stephen McCraw guy. I think this is it.
But we begin in Uvalde, Texas, where the community is outraged over mistakes made during the police response to Tuesday's horrific shooting at Robb Elementary School. That shooting killed 21 people, 19 children, and 2 teachers. Minutes as the gunman
inside the classroom. Days later, and turned out to,
I guess it's just like a shorter clip.
Actually praised the police response hours after the shooting.
The information that I
okay, sorry. I'll grab the other one then.
You say there were 19 officers gathered in the hallway or somewhere. What efforts were made to try and break through that door? You say it was locked. What efforts were the officers making to try and break through either that door or another door to get inside that classroom?
None at that time.
None.
The on-scene commander at the time believed that it had transitioned from an active shooter to a barricaded subject.
Oh my God.
You have people who are alive, children who are calling 911 saying, please send the police. They are alive in that classroom. There are lives that are at risk.
Hey,
that's not protocol, is it?
We're well aware of that.
Right,
Yeah.
but why was this decision made not to go in and rescue these children?
Again, you know, the on-scene commander considered it a barricaded subject and that there was time and there were no more children at risk. Obviously, you know, based upon the information we have, there were children in that classroom that were at risk, and it was, in fact, still an active shooter situation and not a barricaded subject. There was 19 officers in there. In fact, there was plenty of officers to do whatever needed to be done.
Wow.
With one exception is that the incident commander inside believed they needed more equipment and more officers to do a tactical breach at that point. That's why BORTAC was requested on the scene as soon as they were there. They executed a search, or at least a dynamic entry, and went in. And of course, that was not till 12. That was not till 12:57.
What the fuck?
With the benefit of hindsight, stand by, stand by. I got it. Okay. Hey, from the benefit of hindsight, where I'm sitting now, of course it was not the right decision. It was the wrong decision, period. There's no excuse for that. But again, I wasn't there, but I'm just telling you, from what we know, we believe there should have been an entry at that as soon as you can. Hey, when there's an active shooter, the rules change. It's no longer, okay, it's no longer a barricaded subject. We don't have time. You don't worry about outer perimeters. And by the way, Texas embraces active shooter training, active shooter certification, and that doctrine requires officers. We don't care what agency you're from. You don't have to have a leader on the scene. Every officer lines up, stacks up, goes and finds where those rounds are being fired at and keeps shooting until the subject is dead, period.
So it just raises more questions. He's like saying what is normal protocol, and everybody's like, yeah, we understand what is normal protocol. Why did you break it?
Thank you for calling CNN.
And then he's like, oh, well, you know, this is just normal. This is just how things. The guy made a choice. You know, he just. Now that we know, they were getting 911 calls, man, for like an hour. I don't understand. How is that possible? There's something up. There's something up. The police on the scene like wanted to cover something up, or there's literally it's one of two options: extreme cowardice or like corruption. You know what I mean? Like somebody fucked up and they wanted to cover it up and didn't know what to do, and I don't know, man. Like none of it makes sense. Yeah, okay, that was from the other day.
The timeline, you know, we've been asking.
I just don't understand. Okay, so this was another piece of it that was very confusing.
Aldi, the school's police department posted on Facebook about the active shooter training it received at a local high school to prepare as best as possible for any situation that may arise. Now, questions tonight about whether they followed it.
There has to be an independent investigation as to what occurred.
In fact, the school district police chief, Peter Arredondo, who officials say delayed 19 officers from rushing in during the deadly rampage, recently completed an 8-hour training course on active shooters himself in December, according to state records. What is the most egregious mistake, in your opinion?
We should have done whatever it had taken to beat down walls, to beat down that door, whatever we needed to do. Because at a minimum, that may have drawn the attacker's attention away from those children.
Yeah. The Texas Commission on Law Enforcement produced a response playbook for school peace officers.
Like there's something in your biology, you know, like I don't know if you've ever like tried to protect a kid from an animal or something, or seen a kid falling. You don't even have to be related to the kid, and there's an instinct in you to protect the kid. So like how do you get so broken that's gone in you? That's the part I don't understand.
In the wake of Parkland and Santa Fe, it notes the priority of life scale is number 1, innocence, number 2, first responders.
I think I even read into this, and like it goes so hard. It's like you're even supposed to go in by yourself, and you're supposed to ignore other people who are injured. You just walk right past them. Does not matter what you see, who's in what state, directly to the shooter, put pressure on him or her. It's always him. What am I talking about? It's always him. Put pressure. If not, and if you get taken out, guess what? There's another dude coming right behind you, another police. Like that's the advantage of police. You could just send bodies, right? And then the shooter is eventually gonna panic and usually end it himself.
The mandate to stop the killing, an officer's first priority is to move in and confront the attacker. The document later says a first responder unwilling to place the lives of the innocent above their own safety should consider another career field.
Wow.
Frank DeAngelis was the principal at Columbine during a tragedy that changed a country's lens on school shootings and the guidance in these situations.
The number one lesson learned was instead of securing the perimeter, single officers need to go in.
DeAngelis says he cannot comment on what officers should have done here as the public demands more information about what happened and why.
Everyone asking that.
Like, yeah, the very simple like image of the shooting happening and police are facing outwards. It just boggles the brain. Cops are a different breed. Most of them are just high school bullies who are on the way to continue bullying people. I think it goes worse than that, Kraus. Like, if you dig into Behind the Bastards, there's a whole section on police, and I think, like, you know how certain industries draw certain types of people? Yeah, I guess that's one way to put it, right? Like, it's generally going to be someone who is attracted to, like low rent power, like power on a very basic fundamental scale. This was the front page of the Uvalde News a few days ago. evocative. Yeah, power and control. That's it. Okay, we're gonna watch Ted Cruz be the most awful human being on the planet.
Can you tell me why it's more important? Why you can't support stronger gun laws? I mean, that's background check. Tell me about background check. What about background check? Background check. Can we do background check? Sir? Is it so hard to support? You don't want to listen to me? But is that so hard? No, I do. No, you actually don't. Go ahead.
So, if you look at the laws, the Democrats are going to, they wouldn't stop these mass murders.
Do you know this shooter waited until the day he was 18? Why is it so hard to support stronger gun laws?
But background check wouldn't have stopped this shooter. But you know what would have? The bill that I introduced.
We can make it harder for people to get guns in this country. Sir, you know that. No. You know that, but you stand here. You stand at the NRA convention. It is harder. It is harder when there are more guns to stop gun violence.
Ignorance and hatred.
It is not ignorance.
You don't know what you're talking about.
We are in this country, and there are guns everywhere, and there are kids dying. There are kids dying. Why is it so hard? Why is it so hard?
My bills that would have stopped you violence.
Ted Cruz is like the worst. He is the worst. Every time I'm just like, these people exist? Police need fired because incompetence commander should face murder charges? Yeah, Desquanch, I think like in a normal country, that's absolutely what would happen, but we all know that's not what's gonna happen. The Supreme Court's super clear on this. I think we can actually bring that up. Do I have that in the background? Where is it? I think it was Law and Crime that put it out. It was an interesting, it's a good article. Okay, I'll find it while we watch something. Oh, yeah, here it is. Enraged Americans expected Uvalde cops to fight to the death to stop elementary school massacre. They had no legal duty to act. He gets millions of votes. That's fucking scary. I mean, Trump gets millions of votes, and he just called the January 6th insurrection a hoax. It's a hoax, everybody. Don't believe your lying eyes. So, you know, we're through the looking glass, everybody. We're in it. We're in it. This is the downward spiral. Okay. The law enforcement narrative about precisely what occurred this Tuesday when the gunman killed 19 children and 2 teachers at a Uvalde, Texas elementary school has changed again. But one thing has not: the law. And the law does not require police officers to rush, guns blazing, into any dangerous situation, despite the fact that officers do sometimes put themselves in harm's way to save innocent lives. Texas Governor Greg Abbott on Wednesday touted the amazing courage of the police officers who he claimed were running toward gunfire to end the killing spree. By Friday, Abbott backtracked. He said he was livid to learn that officers waited for about an hour to neutralize the gunman as children lay dying on the floor, some of them calling 911 and begging the police to save them. Abbott claims he was originally misled on the facts. Have I seen 2,000 mules? What's 2,000 mules? Makes me think about 40 acres and a mule. Ramos, don't use his name. This dude shot his grandmother, fled, and crashed his truck at 11:30 a.m., the AP wrote after compiling the law enforcement timeline. He entered Robb Elementary at 11:33 and wasn't dead until 12:58. Oh my god. Ugh. That's awful. Quote, "Please send the police now," one girl pleaded by telephone while trapped in her classroom. The police waited more than 45 minutes to enter the room, authorities confirmed on Friday. Quote, "It was the wrong decision," said Stephen McCraw. So maybe we can watch a better... Yeah, it's the full video. Perfect. The head of the Texas Department of Public Safety. NBC News reported that federal law enforcement agents were asked to stand down when they arrived at the scene. They finally went against the commands of local authorities, entered the school, and shot and killed the assailant, NBC said. The shocking facts stand as a stark reminder of the underlying law. It's that Dinesh D'Souza film about ballot harvesting. Oh, Dinesh D'Souza is not a welcome name in here, Disquanch. I'm sorry. I get bad vibes around Dinesh. He gives me bad insurrection vibes. I don't know. The shocking facts stand as a stark reminder of the underlying law. Despite true, the vote uncovered the corruption in the 2020 election. So yeah, Disquanch, that's what we call a conspiracy theory. And if you take even a tiny step outside of your media bubble and question your sources, and maybe look at what other people say about your sources, you're going to find very different stories. I strongly encourage you to read non-American news, for instance. Anything that is just straight up not from America won't actually talk about the election in that way. So I think you're like, you gotta really, the algorithms got you, my guy. You gotta fix your algorithm somehow. Fix your algo. The shocking facts stand as a stark reminder. Yeah, we read this. Dan Kodjo, a Texas litigation attorney with Jones Walker LLP, told Law and Crime on Friday that Abbott's most recent criticism of the police for not rushing into the school, quote, is like the Menendez brothers complaining about being orphans. Quote, there is no legal obligation in Texas on the part of law enforcement to rush in as soon as they can, Kodjo said by telephone. There's just not, civil or criminal. Kodjo said the public oftentimes confuses three links, oh my god, the actual legal obligations of law enforcement officers with what the police are taught and trained to do. Quote, everybody's going to hate law enforcement for not being the heroes we expect them to be, despite there not being a legal duty to act, the attorney noted. Hey Sue, how are you doing? Welcome to the stream. We're talking about how police do not have a legal duty to act. They don't have to save children. So if anyone's confused about what happened in Uvalde, this is the explanation. When you talk about the actual power that exists, like what the power that they have, which is monopoly on violence, they get trusted in court. Their word, like if you got a cop's word against you in the court, you lose. Oreo is covering live Rolling Thunder event. Ooh, okay, we might check that out later, Sue. There's a really fun video game I wanted to check out called Mon Bazou. It's a game about being a French Canadian and like making maple syrup and fixing up your car and going for races. It sounds really really funny. But yeah, if there's something happening with Rolling Thunder, I will be willing to check that out. Probably after this segment, before the gaming. Anyone that knows anything about active shooters, Rule 1 is to interact and take action as quickly as possible, Kodjo said while referencing officers' suggested training standards. Quote, no one can or should argue about that for the obvious reason that they are taking lives, that is, the shooters. He noted that the first hour is absolutely critical. This is like called the golden hour, particularly because like getting... You don't, if you get shot by a gun, you don't have to, like, that's not a guaranteed death. Like, you can be saved if you get to the hospital. Yeah, please just give out speeding tickets around here. Yeah, I think, like, in Canada, it's a bit softer, unless you're a person of color, like if you're black or something in Toronto, let's say. But speed traps is how they get you. They're just like, that's just all they do. They just, like, find these really weird spots. Just like, okay, is this how you fund yourself? Like, what's going on? In Uvalde, Texas, students were dying as law enforcement remained idle. Indeed, local training documents in Uvalde are being widely referenced, reported, and criticized in connection with this week's shooting. The facially tough-sounding standard espoused within those documents suggest fast action, but contain many highly discretionary terms. And you saw that with, like, the doublespeak happening, and we'll probably check out, we got the full video later, we'll take a closer look, but that, like, given what we know now, and the officer at the scene made a decision, right? There's his latitude. For instance, one document uncovered by the New York Times says, quote, a first responder unwilling to place the lives of the innocent above their own should consider another career field, emphasis ours. In legal terms, the word should is not the same as the word must or shall. Right. Oh my god. Oh, that's so dirty. Oh, that's so dirty. Oh, that's so dirty. I saw a trauma surgeon say that the golden hour really applies to blunt force rather than gunshots. Oh, okay. All right. I mean, I'm sure it's still somewhat applicable, but from what I understand, maybe not in this case because the weapon used was very high powered, let's say. Indeed, the training documents contain many other discretionary terms. Officers, quote, will usually be required to do things, are expected to do things. And they're even lectured about best hope scenarios as to their behavior. The terms are guidelines, not mandates. Amazing. Oh God. As a poet, I find this fascinating. The power of language to insinuate power, to create rifts in society and open up authority for you and your pals. Even though officers are, quote, trained to intervene as quickly as possible, and that means immediately, there is no legal requirement for them to do that. Civil or criminal, Codjoe reiterated. The law doesn't change. The no duty to act doctrine dates back to at least 1855 at the U.S. Supreme Court, and the court has repeatedly reaffirmed the concept in cases like Descheny versus Winnebago County Department of Social Services, 1989. The court, yeah, that's court, not could. The court held 6-3 in Descheny that a so-called child protection team had no duty to protect a child despite repeated and severe beatings. I didn't know that. Oh my god. I knew this part. I didn't know this part. Oh my god. A literal child protection team? Oh, my head. I'm not ready for this. Yeah, the semantics. It's because it's all legalese. Oh, fucking Rehnquist. Then Chief Justice William Rehnquist, a conservative jurist appointed by Nixon and elevated by Reagan, wrote that, quote, nothing in the language of the Due Process Clause itself requires the state to protect the life, liberty, and property of its citizens against invasion by private actors. The clause is phrased as a limitation on the state's power to act, not as a guarantee of certain minimal levels of safety and security, Rehnquist ruled. It forbids the state itself to deprive individuals of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. But its language cannot fairly be extended to impose an affirmative obligation on the state to ensure that those interests do not come to harm through some other means. That's very dense, but I understand it to mean the clause here is about restricting the state's power to act. It's not about affirming an obligation, saying you gotta go do this. The you're on your own clause. Yeah, I think there's like a whole story about a dude getting stabbed in a train. That's like where some of this comes from. Subsequent opinions have reaffirmed the holding. One notable 7-2 case involved the emergence mandatory arrest laws. Even when a restraining order exists, and even when state governments pass statutes that say the police shall arrest a restrained individual who is subsequently accused of a violation, the victim of the violence doesn't have a property interest under the Constitution and cannot force the police to act, wrote conservative jurist Antonin Scalia. The case Casarog v. Gonzalez, 2005, involved the abduction of 3 children by an estranged husband. The police didn't hunt the husband down despite pleas from his wife, and the husband murdered the children during the ensuing delay? The police didn't bring the fight to the husband brought the fight to the police. Officers finally killed him when he finally showed up at a police station and opened fire. The officer shot him back. Bro, what is going on? How is that a 7-2? What? That was a 7-2? Bro. Ruth Bader Ginsburg dissented and believed, quote, the elimination of police discretion was integral to Colorado and its fellow states' solution to the problem of underenforcement in domestic violence cases. However, the general paradigm remained. Police were not required to act to protect private citizens, even when state statutes and restraining orders nominally ordered them to do so. I don't get that part. The restraining order nominally orders them to do so, but they're not required? Okay, alright. I think we get the point. It's pretty much as bad as we thought. And just like any law article, it just goes on forever. Let's listen to this full Oh, it's 43 minutes. Okay, this makes more sense. There we go. Let's go to the beginning.
Multiple shots were fired. Was a resource officer and had confronted the subject. That did not happen.
I have a flowchart.
As R.D. Escalone talked about yesterday.
That's it, right? It's like the court just ordered the state to go enforce a restraining order, which is to like protect someone, and the police are like, yeah, but how does that involve us? Like, what?
It was certainly stated in preliminary interviews, but often these preliminary interviews and a cursory walkthrough doesn't reveal the type of information, and certainly, police officers, like anyone else, under stress, sometimes witnesses get it wrong. But the bottom line is that officer was not on scene, not on campus, but had heard the 911 call with a man with a gun, drove immediately to the area, sped to what he thought was the man with a gun, to the back of the school, what turned out to be a teacher, and not the suspect.
Oh, yeah.
In doing so, he drove right by the suspect, who was hunkered down behind a vehicle, where he began shooting at the school.
Okay, already things are not making sense. He started shooting at the school, and the police officer is at the back door, and he's already trying to set up the teachers as the one who caused the back door to be open. Oh, these absolute ghouls.
.11:31, the suspect shooting in between the vehicle is when it began, while patrol vehicle gets to the funeral home. Multiple shots are fired outside the school at 11:31. Patrol car accelerates in the parking lot, drives by the shooter. That's exactly what I was talking about. That was the ISD
Drives
officer
right
at that
by.
time. He passes and then leaves the camera view. There's multiple shots fired at the school at 11:32, at 11:32:27, at 11:32:36. At 11:33 is when the suspect entered the school at the door that I'm pointing to now. At 11:33, the suspect begins shooting into room 111 or 112. It's not possible to determine from the video angle that we have at this point in time. We do know this, that he shot more than 100 rounds based on the audio evidence.
Okay,
at
what?
that time. At least 100 rounds.
Okay, what? If someone shot 100 rounds, how could the on-site commander later think it wasn't an active shooter? You're tripping over the rounds, or there's a river of rounds, just how?
He entered at 11:33, or 11:33 he started shooting in the classrooms, 111 and 112. And 11:35, 3 police officers entered the same door as the suspect entered. All 3 of those police officers worked for the Uvalde Police Department. They were later followed by another 4, a team of Uvalde police officers, 3, and also a county deputy sheriff. So a total of 7 officers were on the scene. The 3 initial police officers that arrived went directly to the door, and 2 received grazing wounds at that time from the suspect.
Grazing
While the door was
wounds. Grazing wounds, everybody. Otherwise known as a minor injury.
At 11:37, there was more gunfire. Another 16 rounds was fired at 11:37. 1 at 11:37 and 16 seconds, 11:38, 11:40, 11:44. At 11:51, a police sergeant and USB agents started to arrive. At 12:03, officers continued to arrive in the hallway, and there were as many as 19 officers at that time in that hallway.
19. How? That's like an entire department. That's a whole Christmas party.
At 12:15, we know that...
Bro, they probably got COVID.
BORTAC members arrived. Not the entire BORTAC, but members of BORTAC, along with Shields. At 12:21, The suspect fired again.
All hat, no cattle.
Believed to be at the door. 11:21, law enforcement moved down the hallway.
Wow.
11:50, they breached the door using keys.
6 minutes
They
to
were able
go
get
down
to
the hallway?
janitor
Oh my
because
god.
both doors were locked. Both
They were
doors the
locked.
classrooms that he shot.
Locked, everybody. The police were thwarted for almost an hour by a locked door. Who knew? Did you know that if police have a warrant to get into your home, just lock the door? You're the only one who owns the keys, so how are they going to get in? This is bizarre.
Got into were locked when officers arrived. They killed the suspect at that time.
Yo, was there like a story of police trying to like get at an active shooter and they just like demolished a building in like to get at him, and the homeowner just had to pay the cost of that? Just like shot down a wall.
And now
Drove
I'd like
over
to
it with
go
a
over
tank.
the 911 timeline. So I warn you, it's not
Bro.
it's better that I read it than you listen to it.
Jesus.
The caller identified, I'll not say her name, but she was in room 112, called 911 at 12:03.
Okay.
The duration of the call was 1 minute and 23 seconds. She identified herself and whispered she's in room 112.
You're getting tactical information.
At 12:10, she called back in room 12, advised her multiple are dead. 12:13, again she called on the phone. Again at 12:16,
Okay.
she called back and said there was 8 to 9 students alive.
Okay, stop. I don't what's going on? What the hell? What?
At 12:19, a 911 call was made, and another person in room 111 called. I will not say her name. She hung up when another student told her to hang up. At 12:21, you could hear over the 911 call that 3 shots were fired. At 12:36, 911 call. It lasted for 21 seconds. The initial caller called back, student, child, called back, and was told to stay on the line and be very quiet. She told 911 that he shot the door. At approximately 12:43 and 12:47, she asked 911 to please send the police now.
Okay, come on. That is like a guttural cry. That's just this is like our point and purpose as adults. What the fuck?
At 12:46,
fucking
she said she could hear the police next door. At 12:50, shots are fired. They could be heard over the 911 call. And at 12:51 is very loud and sounds like the officers are moving children out of the room. At that time, the first child that called was outside before the call cuts off.
I just don't get it.
Additional information that we have is that there are 58 total magazines at the school related to the crime scene. 11 of those magazines were inside the school.
Oh my god.
3 were on the suspect's body.
What the fuck? He went through like 7 mags?
2 in room 112, 6 inside room 111.
Bro.
5 were on the ground, 1 was in the rifle. There were 32 magazines outside the school, but on school property. 1 just outside the school building, and 31 in the suspect's backpack that he did not take into the classrooms with him.
What the
There's
fuck?
15 magazines at the crash site.
What the fuck?
There were 2 magazines at the suspect's residence for a total
Sorry.
of 60 magazines. He
What?
had purchased and had a total of 1,657 total rounds of ammunition. 315 of those rounds were inside the school. 142 of those were spent cartridges. 173 were live rounds. 922 were outside of the school, but on school property. 22 of those were spent cartridges. 900 were live rounds. 422 were at the crash site, 22 were spent cartridges, 420 of those were live rounds. There's 35 spent law enforcement cartridges total in the school.
Wait, that was an important number.
There's 35 spent law enforcement cartridges total in the school.
30. They fired 35 bullets in return. What? Wow, what a travesty.
8 of those were in the hallway, 27 were inside the classroom, 111 where the suspect was killed. I mentioned that we're going to go over quickly a digital timeline. One thing we talked about early, and I want to correct something that was said early on in the investigation, is that he posted, okay, on Facebook publicly that he was going to kill that he was going to shoot his grandmother, and secondly after that he was going to, that he had shot her, and then third that he was going to go shoot up a school. That did not happen. It was actually on a message. It was a Facebook application, messenger application to somebody else that he had a conversation with. We know that through his digital media footprint, and I'll just do by date time, that Ramos asked his sister to help him buy a gun. She flatly refused. That was in September of 21. He made...
There was also this that happened outside the NRA convention. This is a short clip. That was interesting. Listen to that again. Listen to that again, but listen to the counter melody. The dude's screaming louder. Louder, louder, louder. That's really, I really like that. I'm gonna use that next time I have a chance. That's a really useful call and response, because you can shout that. It's a 2-beat. Yeah, that's really good. I like that. Justice is real. Yeah, we know that. Let's keep watching.
He had Instagram, a 4-group chat.
Sorry about the audio
And
quality.
it was discussed that Ramos being a school shooter.
Did he really say that they didn't go in because everybody who was shot was probably dead already? I mean, it's heavily implied, essentially. Yeah.
That was on February 28th of 2022. On March 1st of 2022, there was an Instagram he had with 4 people. There was a chat. He discussed him buying a gun. On March 3rd,
Yeah, we're gonna skip past this. We checked out his social media profile
Interviews have been conducted.
for
Will
the
continue to be conducted. And there's
AP's
thousands
version.
of leads that are being pursued, not consecutively, but concurrently. And thanks back in 2018. That's not the case.
2018.
Not one of the individuals. In fact, we have found no links, associations, and relationships in that investigation. Clearly, it was a threat. It was back in 2018. The 2 juveniles were charged with attempted or conspiracy to commit capital murder. There's no question that we thought, and we had evidence, and certainly the district attorney agreed, that these juveniles, one 13, one 14 years old, was a threat to Uvalde. And there was a discussion at that time, even the senior year of the one that was 14 years old, which would make it 2022. However, that was not the subject. Questions?
Questions. This is what we care about.
Huh? Okay. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
one
yes,
thing I wanna
Spanish.
say, one thing I failed to say
Zero
is
in
that
Spanish.
When we're done, we have Tony Pena with us. He's going to translate into
Yo.
Spanish. Okay, what the
Afterthought
answers and
and
the questions are after.
absolute afterthought.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Complete afterthought. Isn't it like a majority Latino town? Question is, you say there was 19 officers in that hallway. What efforts were made to breach through that entrance? We saw this clip from his perspective, and it's much better quality. Even that door or another door.
None at that time. The on-scene commander at the time
Yeah.
believed that it had transitioned from an active shooter to a barricaded subject.
How does that part make sense? 90%. You got children on 911 saying, please send the police. They are alive in the classroom.
Hey,
Lives are at risk.
We're well aware of that. Yeah.
Why was this decision made?
Again, you know,
To not rescue the children.
commander considered a barricaded subject and that there was time and there were no more children at risk. Obviously,
How can they possibly know if there's children at risk if he's barricaded in there and then later you're explaining that you got a key to open it? He was barricaded in there with a lock. You guys can't shoot through windows? Like what?
obviously,
Yeah, right?
You know, based
Spanish to
upon the
English?
information we have, there were children in that classroom that were at risk, and it was in fact still an active shooter situation.
They're like literally like, yeah, the shooter's in the classroom over. And he's already done there, so... And he locked himself in, so... Our job's done here. We'll just figure out what's the best way to do this without risking police. I'm sure all the other kids are fine. They're like in the other classrooms.
And not a barricaded subject.
That's the story they're going with. I think that's the story they're going to go with. They thought he was going to stay in one spot because they ran into a locked door. Bro. Can't hear the question. Oh, he literally has to walk over. I cannot hear him.
The question simply is this. It was a 40-minute gap.
Yeah.
And if the 911 operators were aware that children were alive in that classroom, why weren't officers notified of that? And if that's the case, why didn't they take action?
Yeah.
That's the question. And
Okay, they said he shot the lock to the classroom door to get in. I don't know how you lock it again after that.
again, I'll go back to the answer for right now, is that it was considered, okay, the decision was made on the scene. I wasn't there, but at the same point in time, you know, a decision was made that this was a
I'm just gonna go to the
barricaded
washroom.
subject
Hydration check.
situation. There was time to retrieve the keys and wait for a tactical team with the equipment to go ahead and breach the door and take on the subject at that point. That was the decision, that was the thought process at that particular point in time. What? Yeah, there was 19, like I said, there was 19 officers in there. In fact, there was plenty of officers to do whatever needed to be done, with one exception, is that the incident commander inside believed they needed more equipment and more officers to do a tactical breach at that point. That's why BORTAC was requested on the scene as soon as they were there. They executed a search, or at least a dynamic entry, and went in. And of course, that was not till 12. That was not till 12:57. With the benefit of hindsight, stand by, stand by, right? I got it. Okay. Hey, for the benefit of hindsight, where I'm sitting now, of course it was not the right decision. It was the wrong decision. Period. There's no excuse for that. But again, I wasn't there, but I'm just telling you, from what we know, we believe there should have been an entry at that as soon as you can. Hey, when
I left during the most shocking part. Like, they're just like, oh, we ran into a closed door. We're not going to try to, like, surround the window. Maybe try to get an angle on it, I guess. Like, I guess I can't really, I don't really know. But waiting for BORTAC or whatever, I guess people with the ka-dunk to get in, they could have just got the key. Like, come on.
there's an active shooter, the rules change. It's no longer, okay, It's no longer a barricaded subject. You don't have time. You don't worry about outer perimeters. And by the way, Texas embraces active shooter training.
Oh, thanks for telling us. They sure do. Look at them embrace this doctrine.
Requires officers. We don't care what agency you're from. You don't have to have a leader on the scene. Every officer lines up, stacks up, goes and finds where those rounds are being fired at, and keeps shooting until the subject is dead. Period.
So they knew what they were supposed to do. Okay. All right. Continue. It's hard to understand how the most powerful country in the world with like incredibly powerful weapons, and this keeps happening over and over and over again. So he has two questions. It's like, how is this still happening again and again and again? And how can an 18-year-old afford like a $5,000 weapon? I think the second question is pretty easy to answer. Just credit cards. Just credit cards.
I'll answer the last. He used a debit card first. But to your point, it's very expensive, and a debit card's not a credit card. It means he had money in the bank. So
wow, $5,000.
Why and how is being looked at right now. And I'll tell you this, thousands of more leads are being looked at right now because we haven't answered all the questions.
Leads.
We haven't gotten into the why. Okay? We know the individual
Doesn't matter.
is also into cyber gaming in that regard.
Cyber gaming! The real issue, everybody. We're actually gonna do some cyber gaming later, if you're ready for it. Mon Bazou, a game about being a French Canadian. I think I'll love it.
So we've got a lot of questions are out there. We're seeking answers, but we've got an obligation. We'll continue to update you when we find something out.
Are you apologizing to the families? Border Patrol, you said that Border Patrol had the special team on site. And it said that they were not allowed to go into the building. Can you elaborate?
Border Patrol agents, the BORTAC agents that were in the building, did line up. They're part of the 19 that I talked about, and the entry team, ultimately the entry team that went in. But I can tell you that they were told, just as any other officer was told, and others, even command staff that came on board, is that the incident commander at the time believed that in fact it was a barricaded subject, that we had time, there was no kids at risk.
Yo, in normal societies, that kind of person, the incident commander, would be tarred and feathered. Like, that's, let's bring that back. Like, holy cow, like, what are you, like, in a video game at least?
I wished he was. Because then there's no question.
Why wasn't this man on your radar? You said, yeah.
And I'll say this right now, but every time we have one of these, and there's copycats, okay?
Every time we have one of these, Jesus.
And we need the public, just like we did back in 2018, that was a public, okay, that came forward, that we got two people that are about to shoot up a school or planted to shoot a school.
Again, admitting that the police couldn't do their job.
It's imperative on the public, when you get something, just because the guy sounds like he's a nut, he may be a nut, but just because it sounds like, well, possible to do, he may be intended to do, as I read the timeline based upon the chats that he had. So we need everyone, when we have a threat to life like that, to take it seriously and report it, because ultimately this is tragic. What do you tell the parents of 19 kids, or the families of two teachers? Yeah.
That you're resigning in disgrace.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. Hey.
You had a bunch of. Why were you waiting for tactical gear when you had a bunch of officers who had?
I've said it before. Is that, well, first of all, when it comes to an active shooter, you don't have to wait on tactical gear. Plain and simple. You've got an obligation. What I know now, okay, absolutely, it was an active shooter. Because you can transition, keep in mind, in the doctrine, okay, of active shooters, you can transition from alert from an active shooter situation to a barricaded subject or a barricaded with hostage subject.
Okay.
But if shooting continues and you have any reason to believe that there's individuals alive in there, you've got an obligation to move back to an active shooter posture, and that means everybody at the door.
Jesus.
Well, Uvalde has a part-time SWAT team, number one.
Part-time SWAT team.
ISD's got, they've limited officers. I think.
Can you really blame them? They're part-time, everybody. You know, like, can you imagine, like, a police department actually only working part-time instead of overtime? It's not like we have, like, volunteer firefighters that defend entire communities and throw themselves into literal fire and flames.
Is it? Well, you got six. They got six. Yeah, the Consolidated Independent School District has 6 officers, and they didn't have one posted at that location. And someone said, "Hey, what do you tell the parents?" I mean, bottom line is that, or someone talked about and said, when there's kids in the room, why wasn't there an entry? Because it was believed, like I said at the time, that the subject was stationary, barricaded. There was no risk to other children.
Stationary and barricaded.
Again, on retrospect, from where I'm sitting right now,
they're gonna hide behind that like a barricade.
Clearly, there was kids in the room. Clearly, okay, they're at risk. And oh, by the way, even when you go back to shooting, there may be kids that are injured. Okay, they may have been shot but injured, and it's important for life-saving purposes to immediately get there and render aid.
Yeah.
And in the blue.
He was not
Where
on
was the
campus.
resource office? Why was he not on campus?
Again, we'll have all those answers down the road. Okay.
There's just a case in the Supreme Court right now that would allow concealed carry in all 50 states despite local and state laws. Yeah, they're coming. They're going for it. Proto-fascism to full fascism, everybody. She's talking about that woman who went in and got her kids out. What do you say to those parents when we had this story of a parent who just kind of like went in there and got her kids? Wasn't a police officer, wasn't a SWAT, didn't need special equipment, just was a person, went in, got her kids, no problem.
Well, first I want to say that the Consolidated Independent School District officers were there early. There was 4 of them, and they immediately began evacuating the school and did that throughout the process. So that, keep in mind, so that was going on. And what do I say to the parents? I don't have anything to say to the parents other than what had happened. We're not here to,
wow.
we're not here to defend what happened.
Bro.
We're here to report the facts so they have the facts. Yeah. Hey, bottom line, the consultant. I'm sorry? Oh, I don't have any information on that. Oh, one second though. However, we did review of what DPS officers arrived on the scene, what they did, and looked at those instances.
Oh, like different reports.
Yes. If I thought it would help, I'd apologize. Okay? But hey, let me say this.
If I thought it would help, I would apologize. Did I hear that correctly? What does that mean? Does that mean his apology is empty? So he's not even gonna go through with even the performative gesture of saying I'm sorry?
And when you go back to the timeline, again, I want to go back and I'm not
That's
defending
a
anything.
weird
but
take.
You go back at the timeline, there was a barrage. Hundreds of rounds were pumped in 4 minutes. Okay,
Hundreds
into
of
those two
rounds.
classrooms. Then
Yeah.
anything else, any firing afterwards was sporadic, and it was at the door. So the belief is that there may not be anybody living anymore, and that the subject is now trying to keep law enforcement.
Or maybe he doesn't have an opportunity to finish the job because he's busy with police. Holy shit, what a logical conclusion. Well, he keeps shooting at us when we try to breach the door. Therefore, it's everybody's safe or dead. Like, wow, what a fucked up conclusion.
At bay, or entice them to come in to suicide by contact. I understand that. I've reported that. Yeah.
How was the man barricaded in the room exactly? Plus, some people maybe could have lived with medical attention. Yeah, that's the part that I'm really interested in. Crying Wimp is like, yo, like, come on. Maybe some of the kids just got grazed or something, you know? And also, why were so many
I
rounds?
might answer the first one, but the why on the second one I don't have.
Right.
The first one, that each door can lock from the inside.
Wow.
Both doors were locked, okay, from the inside.
Wow.
So the subject, when he went in, he locked the door. He came out one time into the hallway, went back in and locked the door, because at the time that the officers went in, both doors were locked. They got a key from the janitor and used it.
Like 40 minutes though.
I don't have that answer right now.
Wow, how many children died in those 48 minutes? Yikes.
Yes.
The first question was, why wasn't the school placed on lockdown? And then she asked, this might be the most controversial question of today. What is on your heart? How are you doing? What the fuck is wrong with America, man? The cop worship is out of control. Out of control. Yeah, you better shed a tear.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for really someone cares about little me.
Forget how I'm doing. What about the parents
Yeah, no one gives a shit.
of those children?
Yeah.
You forget about me. What about me or
exactly.
officers and stuff like that?
Okay.
We take an oath to.
At least he gave the
uphold
only
the law,
answer.
Protect people. And
But
anytime
okay,
something tragic
I
like that,
literally
like
will
it is,
spare you.
but
I
what
literally
about
will spare you.
attacking, you know, on the
I can't do the
24th?
crocodile tears. I don't even think he was like part of this scenario. Like he's just answering for it or something. It doesn't matter.
Go ahead. Go ahead. We're looking at other people. Absolutely. Anybody's been in contact, we're looking at anything. And links to associations. You know, people that may have known something, and
Yeah.
we'll continue. And may have
They're
been
following
involved
thousands
in
of
chat
leads,
room
remember.
gaming along with them. So there's nobody that we're not going to talk
He was a gamer, too. Don't forget.
to and look at. And it's certain, I can assure you that the district attorney is very proactive and very concerned about this, and that if any evidence that we bring to her that someone was an accomplice or an enabler or didn't do what they should have done, it's in violation of the law and it meets the probable cause standards, I have no doubt that she'll take care of business like she did back in 2018 when we had 2 juveniles plot a capital murder at the school.
Wow. Don't talk about the successful one. You failed.
Yes.
Yeah, repeated 911 calls. I don't know how you can put that, like, square that with the situation commander or whatever. Like, thinking, oh, he's barricaded in the room and everyone's dead in there, so it should be good. Did any
Yes.
of those 911 callers survive?
I can't tell you that with certainty,
Yo.
but more than one survived.
Wow. And apparently, at least one died because of their incompetence. We heard from one of the survivors say that allegedly the police said, if you're still alive, say help, and a kid said help and got shot, and then the police entered the room and killed the shooter. So that's one story that's floating about right now.
Yeah, I'm sorry, what? Yes, the windows I'll go backwards, and right over here, I'll move over here.
There are windows. That was kind of my question too.
Shot into these windows right here as he's approaching the door, right? So the children were vulnerable all the time going through. We don't have any reporting of any of the children maybe injured but not dead the way he shot in this particular area, right? As to the answer in terms of someone that could have shot opposite in that regard, I don't have the answer to that, quite frankly. All right?
So.
A number of different things in terms of ballistics and things like that when you canvass.
So they have no idea, like nobody was stationed outside the windows outside this classroom is what I'm understanding.
You've got children, okay, in here. You've got children in here. Oh, Jesus, yeah.
This is diabolical. There you go.
Right. And we're looking at this from a tactical standpoint and everything in terms of looking backwards, okay?
Bro.
And certainly one of the things is, what was the access in 111 and 112 in that regard? And and also, there's other access points as well.
Yeah, like usually classrooms have windows. Like how were they not just surrounding that from every angle?
Right there. Hold on. Let me say one thing. One thing I didn't point out, okay, is that when we've got him going into these rooms, right here's the Jack and Jill restroom between. So not unlike Santa Fe, the classrooms are separated, but they're really connected. So you can move back and forth between those two classrooms.
So?
Yes, sir.
He's like saying this dude has cover, but he's still in one spot. You don't have cover if you get surrounded. Right? Like that's kind of how cover works. You can only protect you might have a lot of cover in like this direction, but you can't protect every fucking angle. Someone breaks through the window at the same time that you're breaching the door, like what's he gonna do?
Incident commander receiving the information coming via the 911 call, and if so, why not? And if so, speak to the level of investigation that you're putting into that very question.
That question will be answered.
That's
but,
right.
I'm not going to share the information we have right now.
It means he can control a lot. Like if you're in the center and you can have like that sort of 360 degrees, you do have a lot of like tactical control. But like you said, yeah, there's 2 entry points plus windows. Holy cow, it looks like you could have surrounded him.
I don't have the detailed interview right now.
Go ahead, sir. Right there.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Blue.
During the barricade situation, did any cops go in and get their own kids while the parents were waiting outside? This is a very important question.
Not that I'm aware of, no.
No. Huh. Interesting.
Yes, please. I know for 2, for certain did, and those 2 did not die.
Two children who called 911 for sure got shot, but they didn't die.
What? Bottom line is, like we reported what happened, is that back door was propped open. It wasn't supposed to be propped open. It was supposed to be locked.
It's the teacher's fault.
And certainly the teacher that went
locked
back
doors.
with her cell phone, it propped it open again. So that was an access point that the subject used.
Go ahead, Blue. Go ahead. Hold on.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, we welcome the FBI. There's a reason why there's the FBI special agent in charge.
They won't be
behind
held
it right now.
accountable.
They play a vital role. And again, this is about finding facts and reporting facts as quick as we can. It's not about trying to defend, or it's not about trying to assess or even be hypercritical. It's about the facts and sharing whatever we learn on the
Yeah.
facts as quick as we can. To be as
We gotta have the Panopticon schools where there's just like a tower in the center, and the school is a big circle, and all the classrooms are visible from the center. So you only have to have a few police officers that can watch the kids at all times.
transparent as we can. You know, okay, the media.
Can we make that? How do we make that the Panopticon school? Oh God, it's got to exist.
Parents and the public, the citizens of Uvalde and Texas. Go ahead, Blue. Go ahead. Hold on, sir. Hold on. The chief of police of the Consolidated Independent School District is the incident commander. It's his school. He's the chief of police. Okay.
You know, that super normal thing where like schools have their own police districts.
Yeah, again, I'm not going to discuss disciplinary, but there's an ongoing criminal investigation. There's ongoing criminal investigation. I'm not going to get into that. Matt, go ahead. Yeah, Matt. The chief of police of Consolidated Independent School District. He was convinced, and again, I want to go back and say, he was convinced at the time that there was no more threat to the children, and that the subject was barricaded, and that they had time to organize with the proper equipment to go in. The subject already had hit, 3 officers, and hit 2 officers, and I didn't answer the final question. A third Border Patrol agent was grazed as well, but no police officer was seriously injured.
Okay, I think I got a couple examples of the Panopticon. We're gonna try to figure out how to build our own Panopticon school. So like maybe instead of prisons, this like cells, they're just bigger in their classrooms. Here's another design. Yeah. There we go. Huh? What do you think? There you go. You can have multiple layers, and as you like go through the grades, you ascend in the classroom, and it's easier to see you on the bottom, but it's harder to see you, let's say, on the top levels. So as you graduate, you develop the maturity of not being watched by a police officer who has a sniper rifle with a 6x scope. That could be a really important, growing experiment. I think we're onto something here, everybody. Yeah, okay, so that was the best design that we came across. Here we go. The Panopticon school? Seems like we need it. Would you attend? Your kids would be safe. Okay, I'm done memeing. I'm gonna run for office on the Panopticon school. just a meme candidate. Okay, so I think I'm really excited about this game, Mobazoo. I don't think anybody plays it. It's like really out there, but when I read reviews, it's like overwhelmingly popular. It's like a brand new game. It's not even done, but it looks hilarious and ridiculous. I kind of like to lean into like ridiculous Canadian stereotypes for reasons. So we're gonna go check that game out. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Of course, all my stuff is barely set up. I haven't gamed in so long, everybody. I haven't gamed in like months. But yeah, we're gonna play some really strange French-Canadian. Je dois aussi parler plus en français, je pense. Je vais essayer. I'm gonna try to speak more on French. Oh, tabernacle de bien, like. Okay, I'm gonna switch it up on Twitch. Nice. Oh, Sacre Bleu. Let's go. All right. I wonder if it's even on. Yeah, it is. Mon Bazou. There it is. Nice. It's a driving game. Okay. Oh, Sacre Bleu is a swear, of course. Okay. Ho. There we go. All right. Let's get into this. I'm excited. Okay, I don't care about that. We care about new game. Save name. C'est quoi notre nom, là? Qu'est-ce qu'on va nous appeler? Le blé bœuf? I don't know what to say. La Belle et le Bœuf? It's too long. Tabernac. Hey. That's culturists. Do I have peanut butter? That's awful. Holy everybody, fresh content. I'm excited. I wonder if it's actually going to be in French. I hope it is. No. Okay. All right. Maple syrup, poutine, energy, and anxiety. Okay. Got some. Alright, got a new shirt. We can sleep. Let's open this up. The mouse is a bit. I'm just gonna sort of fix the settings. Controls, mouse sensitivity, just drop that a little bit. There we go. Okay. So we got a shitty bathroom. Okay. No water, not implemented yet. You don't have water? A French fry cutter. I'm missing the frying basket. Ooh. Oh, we can make poutine. Save? Power button. No electricity. I can't save? Cannabis. Calm yourself. You need to sit down to use the packager. Dude, you need to sit down to roll joints. Okay, so first things first. No harvest. Want to try to roll air? I can't roll air? And I got no electricity? Yo, I'm poor as shit. Okay. I don't want to sit anymore. Alright. Okay. Alright. This is off to a good start. The Ricky Bobby line. I don't know all of them. I'm so sorry. It's been it's been a while since I was binging. Since I've been binging, so I can't remember all the Ricky-isms. Okay, I can run. I got a car. Okay, this is, I gotta like click everything. Okay. Oh. Shifter. Okay. Alright. So I can drive around. But wait. Where do I gotta go? What do I gotta do? I got no energy. No puts in. Okay. So we have a car if we have to go. This is a really odd. And then here's Ceci c'est Mon Bazou. This is a museum exhibit of a 1994 living room. Oh wait, what's in here? Okay. Chainsaw. Watering can. Gas. Conid. Ink. Oh, there we go. To do. Sugar Shack. Debut. Debut, that's me. Use the tool adjustable spanner to screw a bolt. Okay. But what am I screwing the bolt onto? Oh, I see. Like this guy? No. Is that not it? Oh yeah, maybe. Oh no, I see. Ah. Yeah. Okay. So we're screwing in the bolts. Is somebody here? Oh, it's a school bus. Oh, I hope I'm not in the way. Kinda am. Oh my god. Okay. So there's bolts. Koenig, install the wheel on the driver's side. Okay, but I need energy. I got $100. We got a chainsaw. Let's go fuck up some trees. Come on, tree. What you got? got you. I can't cut this. What do you mean I can't cut this? I can't cut this. What? Oh. Yeah, get some. There you go. Take that, Birch. What's up, Birch? Okay. Logs. Okay, let's do one more. You know you need fuel. You know you need wood. Okay, alright. Oh no, don't cut the maple. Don't do that. Okay, we got a generator. Okay. Yo, all my... a crescent wrench for lug nuts. My... I didn't think about it that way. You're right. That's so fucking funny. I didn't think... Okay, watering can. Where do I get water? They said water wasn't implemented. Do I really have to go all the way over here? Oh, there's even like a place to like chill. Alright. Give me some water. No? Oh, yeah. Okay, there we go. I don't know what I need it for. I probably gotta get a ganja farm going. Oh, this is a lot of work. Okay, the first goal in this game is to roll a joint. I don't really know what to do with this water, so I think I'm just gonna put it down for later. You go right there. We got no gas. We gotta put a wheel on. We got a shovel. Okay. So, I guess maybe I could just pick up the wood. Here. Get in there. Wait, what? How do you work? Into the... Get in there. Do I have to like... No? Weird. Coupler. That's to run it, move it around. I guess I don't know what powers this. Doesn't it need like gas? It's got a big piston. Oh, here we go. Fuel cap. Okay, so that means you gotta... There we go. Do you not have... Is there no fuel in there? Okay, so I need fuel. Where do I get fuel? Okay. Oh, there's some water there. That's nice. 0 of 6. This is kind of like a mystery game, man. Oh my god. Oh, thank god there's coffee. Okay. Lift au village. Okay, cool. So I can get a lift into town. 10 packs to 1. Oh, that's for me selling weed. We don't have electricity, I remember. So, yeah, I guess that's it. Mythe de char, chaque nuit, épicerie abandonnée, okay. And then I can call my mom. 555-2109. Too far.
Oh, allô, mon beau garçon! Bientôt, là, je vais avoir terminé de faire le ménage de ta chambre. C'est sûr que si je trouve quelque chose, là, je te fais signe.
Nice! Nice! Actual Quebecois. Fucking awesome. So she said to go clean my room. My room's clean. Come on, mom. Qu'est-ce qui se passe là, maman? Ma chambre, c'est bon. Construit pour dépasser voiture de l'année. Okay, so I love my cars. Power on, but I can't because I need electricity. Alright, so I guess we'll get a ride. We'll ask for a ride at the town and get gas. Gas is the real limiter. Unless I can just turn you on. Do you have gas? Yeah! We got power. Means maybe this works now? Oh no, it needs gas. I'm a dummy. But I have power. So I can make some fries. Oh my god. Oh my god. Puts in. Holy shit, la. Oh my god, I'm hungry. Ah. So when that bar fills up, what's this? I probably shouldn't have eaten that. It's probably really hard to make. I got a bunch of maple syrup. Ah, okay, I'm understanding. Okay, good. You were missing the fry. That's not the fry basket. Okay. Alright. Okay, I'm understanding. What do we got here? There's more puts in the freezer. Okay. Alright. Let's turn on the computer. Chill. The computer is still booting. Bro. Isn't smoking pot before playing video games mandated by one of the 10 commandments? Buddy the Elf's fridge. Oh, that's right. With like the spaghetti and the... Oh, this is the slowest computer. Are you for real? What is going on? Oh, they're really taking us back. Yo, the mix of the generator. Okay, this is funny. This is funny. I'm having a laugh. It's Windows XP, of course. Oh yeah, I think I meant to tell the YouTubers. Yo, if you're still watching on YouTube, come over to Twitch. I'm gonna go end that stream. Go over to Twitch. I'll see you later. I'll see you later. Okay, yeah. Everything's